Hey everyone, welcome back to another video by Simplilearn. In this video, we will be discussing Deloitte interview questions. So we will go through different types of interview questions that are often asked during the interview process at Deloitte. So we have categorized these interview questions into three types. First will be Deloitte interview questions. Then there are common Deloitte interview questions that are most frequently asked during the interview process. And third will be Deloitte technical interview questions. After that, we will understand the complete interview process at Deloitte, like how things work during the interview process. And at last, we will address some of the frequently asked questions. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. So before moving ahead, let's understand about Deloitte. So Deloitte is one of the most reputed Big Four accounting companies and the largest professional service provider by revenue as well as the number of professionals. The company offers financial advisory services, enterprise risk, consulting, tax and audit services with over 263,900 professionals worldwide. It earned a record of 38.8 billion US dollars in revenue in the financial year 2017. As of 2016, Deloitte is considered the sixth largest private organization in the United States. Deloitte has the largest number of clients among FTSE 250 firms in UK in 2012. According to the reports, it also had the highest market share in auditing among India's top 500 corporations in 2015. The company has been ranked first by market share in consulting for the fourth consecutive year by Gartner. Kennedy Consulting Research and Advisory put Deloitte first in global consulting and management consulting based on aggregate revenue. So, as we have understood about Deloitte, now let's have a look at Deloitte interview questions. So our first question is, what is the difference between stored and triggered procedures? So a stored procedure is a defined code written in SQL/PL, which may or may not provide a value when invoked by calling it explicitly. On the other hand, a trigger is a stored process that operates automatically when an event occurs. So this is the difference between a stored and triggered procedure. Now, moving on to the second question, that is, what is backpropagation? So backpropagation is a common method of calculating the gradient of the loss function concerning the weights in an artificial neural network. It is widely used as a part of algorithms that optimize the network's performance by adjusting the weights. Now, let's look at the third interview question, that is, what is the difference between a crossover and a straight-through cable? So let us start with a straight-through first. A straight-through is between a modem and a computer, switch or router, whereas a crossover cable is between two networking devices. A straight-through is used for connecting unlike devices, for example, connecting a computer to a switch, whereas on the other hand, crossover cables are mostly used for connecting similar devices, that is, between two PCs. A straight-through is used for connecting a router to a hub, whereas a crossover is used for connecting between hubs and between switches. So a straight-through cable is a type of Cat5 with RJ45 connectors at each end, and each has the same pinout. On the other hand, the crossover cable is a type of CAT where one end is T568A configuration and the other end is T568B configuration. So these were some of the key differences between a straight-through cable and a crossover cable. So now coming to the fourth interview question, which is, what is SMTP? So SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It deals with internet mail and offers important mail delivery services on the IP/TCP protocol stack. Most email solutions that send emails on the internet use SMTP to send messages from one server to another. The messages can be retrieved with an email client through IMAP or POP. Now we have come to the second last question of Deloitte interview questions. What is clustering support? So a clustering support is one of the most important features that a network operating system can offer and refers to the ability for servers to be grouped in fault-tolerant manner. This feature simplifies the process of upgrading servers by carrying over running services onto new machines without any downtime. So this was clustering support. Now let's talk about our last Deloitte interview question, but after this there will be a bunch of common interview questions and technical interview questions. So wait until the end. So coming to the last interview question of Deloitte, that is, what is the role of IEEE in computer networking? So IEEE is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, an institution composed of many high qualified engineers who are charged of designing and managing a whole range of electronic and electrical devices. These includes connectors, wires, network interfaces and network devices. Now that we have completed all the questions of Deloitte interview, we will move on to the common questions of the Deloitte interview now. So we have compiled a list of 7 most frequently asked Deloitte interview questions, responses and advice. We have also included some sample answers to help you put your best foot forward and showcase your desirable talents and abilities to help you move on one step closer to landing your ideal job at Deloitte. So reviewing some of the most popular interview questions asked by Deloitte hiring managers can help you prepare and enter the interview with a clear head and well thought out plan of what to say. Setting yourself up for success and getting ready for your job interview may be as simple as conducting a practice interview with these commonly asked questions before the big day. So let us go ahead with the first common Deloitte interview question. What made you apply for a position at Deloitte? So the hiring managers across every organization ask this question to measure your interest and learn more about the organization you are applying to. So Deloitte is no exception. So now how to answer this question? So you need to prepare for this question by researching Deloitte ahead of time and becoming familiar with its culture, its mission and professional principles. Try to highlight your expertise at least once factor that drew you to the company in your response. So as an example of this question would be like, as an experienced financial analyst, I am dedicated to providing the best possible service to my clients and the knowledge they need to make informed financial decisions. I have been looking for a way to make a bigger difference in my community, and this position appealed to me because your company is known for its apparent market success, rapid expansion, and inclusive work atmosphere. So this is how you can answer this type of question. So now moving on to our next question, which is, what do you know about Deloitte? So this question or something similar will very certainly be asked throughout the interview process at Deloitte, regardless of the position you're looking for. So to answer this question, prepare for your interview by researching and having a few significant and relevant facts about Deloitte on hand. So as a general rule, know everything there is to know about the company, including what they specialize in, what they are headquartered, and when they were created, like that. So in response to this question, an example would be, throughout my undergraduate education, I constantly followed Deloitte's work and was intrigued by the firm's recent development, particularly the acquisition of Terbium Labs. Since its founding in London in 1845, Deloitte has developed tremendously. Also, Deloitte is regarded as one of the largest privately held professional services firms. And I'm confident in my ability to assist Deloitte in continuing to expand and better the lives of millions of people around the world. Now, moving on to the next question, that is the third common Deloitte interview question. That is, how did you get into the field of accounting? So if you're interviewing with Deloitte, you're probably in the accounting sector. This is a common question asked by Deloitte in hiring managers to determine your professional interests. So to answer this question, try to recall the specific aspects of accounting that drew you to the area and highlight your devotion to the job. So an example answer to this question would be, accounting gives me enormous pleasure. I enjoy my job because it both challenges and fulfills me while also allowing me to serve individuals from all walks of life. My early interest in financial data analysis and calculating metrics drove me to this field. Now coming to the next question, which is, tell me about a point in your career where you use the negotiation skills to change the outcome of something. So during the Deloitte job interviews, this is one of the most often asked questions, I would say. If you want to work for Deloitte, you would require exceptional negotiation and communication abilities regardless of department or function. So to answer this question, try to recall a time when you utilized your negotiation abilities to close a sale. Explain a complex concept to a client or influence the outcome of a team meeting. You should attempt to demonstrate excellent communication and interpersonal skills in your response. So an example answer to this question would be like, in a recent case, I used my negotiation talents to persuade a customer not to seek financial assistance from a competitive firm. After listening to the customer's concerns, I addressed them directly. I met with their chief financial officer extensively, resulting in negotiating a new consulting agreement that was more suited to the company needs. And in my experience, clear and powerful communication is crucial in each negotiation. So that's how you can answer this type of question. Now, next question in our list is, how do you manage deadlines and tasks? So working quickly and achieving deadlines are often critical to employees' success at Deloitte. Passion, focused, and efficient employees are significantly more appealing to the hiring managers. So to answer this question, you should emphasize your time management and organization skills in response. An example answer of this type of question would be, with more than 3 years of professional auditing experience, I have honed my time management skills and can easily stay on target while managing many assignments and deadlines on any given day. To meet deadlines and accomplish all activities promptly, I prioritize and plan tasks, set goals, dedicate when appropriate, and keep the clear communication with my team. So this type of question can be answered like this. So next question would be, how do you stay focused when performing audits and other tax and legal services? So working with numbers might become tedious sometimes, but remaining focused is crucial if you want to work with Deloitte. So hiring managers frequently ask this question to assess your ability to complete tasks and remain focused on the job. For this question, when providing audits and legal services, expressing your capacity to be methodological and paying close attention to detail in a wonderful approach to responding. So an example answer of this question would be like, auditing and reviewing figures are two things I enjoy doing. I'm hyper aware of the task at hand at all times, paying close attention to detail and scrutinizing data for any fraud or any kind of abnormalities, you can say that. I tackle all audits and financial assessments analytically and rigorously to keep focused. So we have reached the last question in this Deloitte common interview questions. So let's discuss the last question now. What can you bring to Deloitte? So during the job interviews at Deloitte recruiting managers frequently ask this question to further analyze potential workers' talents and competencies. To answer this question, this is an excellent opportunity to showcase your finest abilities. Answer this question by mentioning any relevant work experience you have and highlighting your best professional qualities. An example answer of this type of question would be like, I am convinced that with over 5 years of auditing and tax experience, I can help Deloitte expand and broaden its client base while continuing to provide the high quality financial services that Deloitte customers expect. So when auditing limited companies, huge organizations and small firms, I have a keen eye for detail, a vested interest in the financial system, and a demonstrated track record of providing remarkable outcomes. So these were some common Deloitte interview questions that will act as a valuable resource for your interview preparation for Deloitte. Moving ahead, let's have a look at some of the Deloitte technical interview questions. So now we will go through some of the technical questions which you need to prepare for technical interview round. So the first question is, what is polymorphism in programming? So we will address this question, then you'll have to prepare these questions on your own, as there's technical questions and you'll have to understand this question in detail. So first is, what is polymorphism in programming? So polymorphism is a very important concept of object-oriented programming and is often asked in interviews. So you must prepare this question in order to qualify the interviews. Second would be, how can you create and use threads in Java? So the course or path followed when a program is being performed is referred to as a thread in Java. You can prepare for this question in detail as it is also an important question. Now third is, what are the similarities between array, list and vector? So here you can learn 4 to 5 points on the difference between both this list and vector. So next would be, what is an implicit cursor? So an implicit cursor is a topic of PLSQL that you have to prepare because it is also an essential topic if you are preparing for not just Deloitte but any interview question. Fifth is, what do you understand about tunneling protocol in computer networks? So it is a computer network question that you will have to prepare. After that, there is sixth question. So sixth question is, what is proxy server? Then the seventh question is, what are the pros and cons of star topology in computer networks? Then eighth question would be, differentiate between hierarchical database models and networks in DBMS. So it is also again a very important topic. Then the next is, what are different storage classes in C? So it is a concept of C that you'll have to prepare as well. Then what is generational garbage collection in the context of Java and what makes it popular? So it is a pretty famous concept in Java that you'll have to prepare. Now coming to the next question, that is 11th. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using threads in context to the operating system? All right, now the 12th question would be, what are access specifiers in C++? You'll have to prepare it. And 13th question would be of DBMS, like what is the difference between char and varchar in DBMS? All right, now then there is differentiate between hash join, sort, merge join, and nested loop join in DBMS. So now coming to our last question, that is the 15th question of Deloitte technical interview questions. So that would be, explain DDL, DCL and DML statements in SQL. So you'll have to prepare all these technical interview questions, and you can prepare some more technical interview questions, but these questions are being asked in Deloitte interviews. So if you want to qualify those interviews, you'll have to prepare these technical interview questions in depth, in great depth, I would say. So now, so as we have gone through the Deloitte technical interview questions, we are now going to discuss the interview process at Deloitte. So let's go ahead and do it. So interview process at Deloitte. So it takes professionalism, precision and tremendous competence to get a job at Deloitte. The way that you prepare for a job interview can be the difference between being offered a position and not. So in order to come across as a confident, capable candidate, it's important to know what to expect, what to prepare and answer for a typical interview question well in advance. You have to prepare those questions in advance. And also have an appropriate strategy for how to handle the interviews. So the first step would be a submission of application. As we can see, the most critical aspect of hiring process is submitting a polished job application. So the fastest way to get an interview and eventually be employed by Deloitte is to submit a detailed, edited and well-constructed job application. Job applications can be submitted online through Deloitte's career page, but many workers first apply via college career fairs or by being referred by current employees. So after submitting the application, then there would be first interview round. So you will be contacted for an interview if the hiring managers at Deloitte are impressed with your application. So within 1 to 3 months, you should receive an email or phone call from them. So the initial round of interviews may be held in person, over the phone or over Skype or video conference, depending on the position you are looking for and the location of the employment. So the initial interview for a position at Deloitte is usually conducted by a human resource professional and comprises basic interview questions such as critical thinking, resume-based questions regardless of the role. So a short, just a minute round is sometimes included in Deloitte first round of interviews, whereas a job applicant is assigned subjects to speak on for like 1 minute. So after that, there will be a second interview round. So if you are aged your first Deloitte interview, your work isn't done yet. Deloitte requires most new workers to go through 2 or 3 rounds of interviews before getting hired. So if you are preparing for interviews, or if your first interview was conducted in person, the second interview could be completed shortly after the first. So Deloitte is recognized for conducting in-depth interviews with job seekers, frequently asking applications to go to one of their over 700 globes offices for a full day of interviews. So Deloitte's second job interview usually lasts about 30 minutes and includes a behavioral and situational interview questions. So in case you are seeking a job for a highly specialized or technical position, such as an engineer or programmer, the interview is frequently conducted by a senior manager and contains a slew of situational interview questions. So then there would be a third interview round. So finally, suppose you're seeking a senior or highly technical position inside the company. In that case, you will very certainly be required to go through another round of questioning with senior management, partner, department director, or possibly a panel of interviewers after the second interview. So only the most eligible individuals are invited to the third interview. During the third interview, it's very important to put your best foot forward because every word will be scrutinized and evaluated. So the third interview, like the second, usually includes additional situational and job specific interview questions. So once the interview rounds are done, then there would be pre-employment aptitude testing. So in this test, you may be requested to do an aptitude test to further analyze your skills to perform the work depending on the exact post you have been applying for. So your skill level and your personal professional experience will be in there. So a quantitative logical and verbal reasoning section is usually included in the Deloitte's pre-employment aptitude test to assess your talents. So the test may be more involved for specific professions such as audit associate or computer programmer, required applicants to complete a mock audit, answer more maths questions, or build a Java algorithm. Once all these interviews and tests are done, then there would be orientation and training. So orientation and training. In this, only orientation and training will remain in the onboarding process. Once you have received a formal employment offer, you will probably be required to fill out paperwork, consent to a background check and fingerprints, and take an employment drug test during this stage. So every Deloitte's employee, regardless of rank, is expected to attend a new employee orientation, which includes a thorough review of corporate policies and procedures. So you will begin your new employment after orientation with the initial few months usually being spent in training or no probation. You have to go through a lot of like one-on-one training or a very little depending on the position of your level of proficiency. So this was the interview process at Deloitte. Now there are some frequently asked questions regarding the interview process and rounds. So let's have a look at some frequently asked questions. So the first question is, are Deloitte interviews hard? So it makes no difference if the Deloitte interview questions are simple or difficult. The truth is that the more you prepare for the interview, the more likely you are to succeed. Study rounds, questions, stages, etc. Understand the role completely, including what they expect from you, the skill set you will require, and the credentials you will need. So another popular question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So tell them you want to learn and master particular technology. You must persuade them that you intend to stay with the company for a longer period. You can say you want to improve your skills, gain more confidence, and keep your job in the company. And within the next 5 years, you want to be acknowledged as an authority in that field. You can become a seasoned specialist if given the opportunity. The recruiter is just interested in finding out how long you plan to stay with the company and how satisfied you are with your current position. So this is how you can answer this question. So next, these two questions are very interesting. Like, what is your salary expectations? So this is a challenging one. You can choose to quote the exact amount or not, but you must advise them of the percentage increase you are considering. Instead of requesting to a certain wage, demonstrate your commitment to the position. So our next interesting question would be, what is the starting salary of a fresher in Deloitte? So in Deloitte, the starting salary for a fresher is roughly around 4.5 lakhs per year. All right, now moving on to the next question. Why should we hire you? So it is again very famous question, I would say. The interviewer is working to identify whether you would be good fit for their organization. As a result, you will need to persuade them. You can say something like, I can grab information quickly. You can discuss your abilities, skills, and past experiences in this section, as well as how you can bring something fresh to the role. All right. Now, our next question, that is next FAQ question. What are your strengths and weaknesses? So you can address your strengths by elaborating on the following points, and you can have your strengths and weaknesses, you can say that, but in this case I would say like goal oriented and versatile. This is our strength, goal oriented and versatile. Then second would be ability to handle pressure, and our third strength would be strong communication skills, because all these three skills are highly appreciated in the Deloitte organization. And the following are the weaknesses that you can address, like self-critical, multitasker, and discomfort in taking big risks. So again, you can write down or learn your own strengths and weaknesses that you know. And yes, now moving on to the next question, which is, how do you handle stress or tight deadlines? So it is an important question that is often asked. So employers are searching for examples of how stressful situations motivate you, or how you may have prevented stressful situations by planning and communicating effectively. To demonstrate your capacity to operate under pressure, give an example of how you coped with a difficult situation at your previous workplace. Alright guys, with that we have come to the end of this session. If you like this video on Deloitte interview questions, please give it a thumbs up. I hope it really helped you all. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.